Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome back to the channel, Naturally Sacred, where we are talking about all things wellness and all things life. Okay, for those of you that are new here that I don't know, because I do have some new subscribers that I do know, shout out to you. Shout out to those who are new, like Jessica. Shout out to those who are people that I know, should I say, like Jessica, like my sister, and those who I just met, like Anna, and for those who I don't know who have resonated with me or seen me somewhere on maybe some type of social media platform, um, or maybe even at an event. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining this family, this community. And I'm excited. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to try new things and step out on faith and step out on knowing and step out on belief, step out on trust. And to share that with you guys, to share this space, to share this moment, to share this time, this energy that we're going to be sharing when I come on here and do videos in general. You know, I think there's a space that we're sharing no matter when you watch this video at any time. You're going to feel this and I'm going to feel you, you know. I don't have to see you to do that, to feel you, to feel your energy, to feel your appreciation. So, you know, this is for us, and I always say that. This is about us. I'm a reflection, and I am here to just continue being me, to continue to share my experience, and through that, you know, share that through creation, through things such as Naturally Sacred. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things. I'm really excited about Wellness Wednesday because it allows us to get into different topics around wellness, any level of wellness, sometimes holistic wellness, and really talk about an array of different things. So on here, I encourage you to ask me questions, email me, you know, reach out to me and engage me with questions or things that you want to hear about as we get into Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday. I apologize that I wasn't here last Wednesday. It's just been really busy. But again, being intentional, being willful, you know, and really doing it, that's really what I'm trying to be intentional in. No, that's what I am being intentional in. So without further ado, let's get started into this Wellness Wednesday because I don't want these videos to be super long. You guys may see me look down, which I have notes because I want to stay again on task, on topic, intentional. So this doesn't get drawn out. You know, my mind moves a mile a minute. So I can really, probably way faster than a mile a minute, but I can really, you know, I think a lot. I have a lot of connections as I begin to share information authentically in channels, and thinking begin to awaken within my mind, and I can easily get swayed into a different topic. So I just want to have notes so I can make sure I stay on path, stay intentional with the message, and not make it long. So let's jump into it. What are we talking about today on Wellness Wednesday? We are talking about the power that we have, the power that you hold, that I hold, and how we can begin to create mastery of that within ourselves. So when we say the power I hold or the power within self, what does that mean? To me, it's about your internal power. It's not about the position you hold or who you represent on that physical level, or title that you hold, but it's about your internal strength, your internal power. It's about your choices that you make, the way you think about yourself or others, the way you speak about to yourself, speak internally, your inner critic, your inner talk. What is that like? The actions that we do, the energies that we feel, that we continue to keep ourselves stuck in. And all of this is in something that is our personal power. It is something we have control over. What we eat is our personal power. What we drink, what we put into our temple in general, on any level, physically, what we eat, what we drink, mentally, what we're taking in, the books that we're reading, the music we're listening to, the television that we're watching, the people that we're hanging ourselves around with, that's energy, toxic relationships, all of that, those are things that we have control over. Those are things that we can directly impact, how we speak to others, how we speak about ourselves. That's in our direct power. So how do we use that? How do we use that power within? Because that is really our gift. It's what we hold, and we have that naturally. We don't need to, you know, and this is something I've learned, you know, and I just want to say this, everything that I share are things that I've learned through experience, are things that I've applied, because I think that there's different ways of learning, you know. There's reading, and then there's the act of actually applying what you're reading and what you're learning and what you're experiencing. It's like taking a lesson and learning from a mistake and then making sure you're doing something different the next time. You know, it's because of that mistake, it's because of that problem or that challenge that you are able to learn, and you know, learn how to apply it better next time, learn how it works, learn if it does work. Is it truth, is it a lie? Without the application of it, you truly do not know. So I think the application of anything is important. And as I share this, that remembering that, you know, I'm sharing from, you know, books that I've read as well and the research that I've done, but also just the application of the work, like the internal work, the alchemy, and really putting into work the things that I learned to see, is it true, is it not, you know, and how that applies to me. So, you know, yeah, it is strength, it's courage, it's confidence, it's in the face of challenge, doing it anyways. You know, that's what courage is all about. It's doing it and using the will to create it. Personal power is about will, right? We have this action, we have this something we want to put into fruition, but we have to make sure that will is involved in that act, right? It's like having stillness and then having movement. From that comes an act, an energy. Something comes from the stillness and the movement, creation. So it's that same ideology. We can, you know, think about wanting to do something different. We can have movement, but that movement not be aligned with what we want. So understanding that it needs to be willful in our actions and in our stillness and what we want to create. It has to be willful in our hearts and in our minds. Okay, this is our personal power. This is where we begin to take our power back. Okay, so when we begin to question thoughts that are not aligned with what we want, that are not aligned with our higher purpose or our higher self, that is us using will. When we take those thoughts and change them into what aligns with who we are, what aligns with what we want, what aligns with where we're going. This is about knowing that I can, not saying that I can't. Like, you know, what does that get me? Thinking that I can't, thinking that I'm not enough, thinking that I won't, thinking that I lack. What does that get me? Exactly what I'm putting out, that I lack. I'm going to constantly be mirrored what I put out. And that is only to show me the personal power that lies within, not to show me the wall that we think we're hitting, to confirm that. No, it's not a wall. It's just you missing that you're hitting yourself. It's mirroring back to you. It's showing you, hey, I'm here. I'm trying to show you this isn't true. You have the power to create change in that. But we have to be willful in that action, and intentional. You know, having clarity in what we want, understanding what it is that we want, and creating change in that, knowing that we can change our circumstances. And a part of personal power too is not only understanding what's in your control, like how you think, how you feel, and what you speak, you know, what you eat, what you put in your body, who you surround yourself with, how you talk to yourself, how you talk to others. That's your power, that's in your control. You know, taking care of your mind, meditation, taking care of your body, you know, all of that are things that we have personal control over. But then what's not in our control? Other people, right? And then things that happen in our lives by chance sometimes, or, you know, maybe deaths. You know, certain things are not in our control. And there also has to be a surrendering and an honoring and a trusting in that process, right? Because that allows, again, what's in my control, right? I can either fight that this is happening, right? This thing that is truly out of my control, or I can accept that which is, and my feeling and my thought about it and my perception of it, by just learning more about it and beginning to understand that which is unknown, you know, through my own personal experiences. So a part of that personal power is surrendering to that which is not in your power, surrendering to that which you don't have control over. And so that's when I think of personal power, that's what I think of in a you know, nutshell kind of way. And it's so powerful when you begin to think about it and truly apply it to your life, because then transformation happens. You begin to do things in the face of challenges and difficulties because you know that you can, because you believe that you can, because that you're making the willful action to change your circumstance and do something different so that you can get a different result. Okay? You're taking that stillness, that inertia, that idleness, that laziness, that lack of movement, and turning it into something, turning it into movement, therefore creating change from that. You know, it's a time for stillness, and there's a time for movement, and then there's a time for both to connect with one another and create form. So, you know what's that's in our personal power, okay? That is the things that we have control over, that we can begin to change and transform our lives, or we can stay stuck in that. All right, and this is me just being honest because I've been here and I'm still learning how to move through all of this, but I want to share and I want to be transparent in my sharing. We can either stay stuck in that and give into it and continue to stay in our addictions and our cycles and our way of living and our way of just existing, or we can begin to change our lives so we can get the life that we want by taking our life back into our control, by taking our power back, by understanding what it means to have our own personal power and how it plays a role in what we do in life. So when you're done watching this video, don't just watch it. Like, actually take it, what I'm saying, if it resonates with you, and begin to apply these principles that I'm going to share. Begin to be the observer of your thoughts. Catch yourself when you're having thoughts that are negative about you, about others. It's not about, especially about other people, because that's our assumption, that's our perception. That may not be true. 99% of what people do has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So when we have the ability to understand that, we stop perceiving and expecting people to be a certain kind of way, and understand that we all have our own stories. We all have our own struggles. And what we may perceive someone is doing or being towards us is not always true. That's their stuff. And allow them to go through their journey and hopefully learn their personal power. But in that moment, take your power back. Don't give it away by getting mad or getting angry at that person or yelling or doing anything that serves is counterproductive to where you want to go and who you are, your higher purpose and your higher self. We have to move out of that space and begin to take back our control and take back our power and release that which is not in our power, which is not in our control. And, you can watch my releasing video that I posted a couple videos ago. Watch the video about releasing and just kind of like meditate on it, think on it, about what I said and how that aligns with you and your own personal power. So I feel like I just spent a lot of time talking about that. So let's get on to how do we give our power away? And I kind of got into it, but we give our power away in many big and many subtle ways. Okay, some of the big ways is by, constantly being good people pleasers, trying to fit the expectations of others. So we change who we are in that process. That is a big way of giving our power away. We're dimming our light. We're not moving and creating how we want to move and create, but we're changing our efforts. We're changing our form in order to meet the form and effort that someone wants to see from us. And we give our power away in such a big way when we do that, because we're not doing anything good for them. We're stringing them on. We're holding on to something that inevitably will crash, no matter what it is, a person, place, or thing. Because if we're talking about holding on to something and being fake in order to stay in something, eventually that which is fake will no longer thrive. That's just what it is. Like, truth will always survive. Truth will always be at the top, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. Truth will survive. So when you're dealing with something and you're holding on to something false to fit someone's expectation of you, eventually that's going to crash. So not only are you being impacted by that, by giving your power away, being fake, dimming your light, the energy it takes to do that, no matter, again, what it is, people, place, their thing, in return will impact that person too, because they've invested, stayed, never really learned the lessons they need to learn, maybe by you being that person or that energy that walks away from this person, place, or thing in order for them to deeper understand, their deeper need and their personal power and all of that. So it's like we really give our power away when we try to fit the mold and expectations of someone else, okay? We have negative self-talk. That's a really big one. How we think about ourselves. What is our inner talk like? Okay, we give our power away when we have negative inner talk, because we're putting out the frequency, the thought form of something that is not aligned with our highest good or where we truly want to be. Because, those type of inner conversations, that inner talk, even emotions we carry, are rooted in something so deep. And this isn't about that. So, just listening to this, if this resonates with you, that inner child, that inner self that develop a certain way of survival and a certain way of security in life. No matter what, when we're young, what we experience is shapes and impacts how we react about life, how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about others. So if we've gone through things in our childhood that have impacted us, and I don't get to dictate how big that is, what that looks like, you dictate that. But if we go through something and we're young, between the ages of 1 and 8, 1 and 9, definitely between the ages of 1 and 7, no matter what that is, and it impacts us in a way that makes us create maladaptive thoughts about ourselves, about others, maladaptive feelings, you know, things that are just not true and aligned with who we really are, other people or ourselves. So when we're talking about changing our own inner self-talk and our own inner dialogue, it's truly about looking at that inner child, that younger self. What did you experience? What are you holding on to? What are your fears? You know, what is it? Abandonment? Is it lack of value? Is it lack of worth? What, like, you know, is it feeling like you're lacking in anything? What is it? Is it you, you know, thinking you're not able to, or holding on to your can'ts or your doubts, or what someone spoken to you when you were young, what you couldn't do, what you can't do, you know, someone else's doubt or limitations of you. What is it that's keeping you in those places that you're giving your power away, within that negative self-talk, within that negative actual physical talk, within that negative feelings about self, you know? And I would say, you know, as you begin to do that work and begin to do internal work, that's going to change as you begin to observe your inner talk, the way, the words that you choose to speak out, the way you feel. You can begin to create change from that feeling, from that space, from that awareness. So, you know, I'll share a small story because I don't want to spend a lot of time here. But, you know, when I started doing my new job, which is training, and I've been doing it for maybe about 6 months now, my first day training, I was terrified. Like, I mean, going up to the moment, yeah, you know what's gonna happen, but you still staying cool under pressure. You know, you're like, all right, you know, I got this, you know. But when you're actually front and center and it's time to go, all of these feelings rush through you, all of these emotions, this adrenaline, these ideas, this thought, you're taking in all of this stimuli in the moment. And it's like my inner talk was like, you can't do this. Girl, you can't talk. You're not gonna do a good job at this. You're gonna forget some stuff. You're gonna, like, it was so bad to the point where I was like, I can't do this. This isn't for me. This isn't the job for me. I don't know why they you know, wanted me to do this job. I don't understand what they seen in me. Like, my inner talk was ridiculous. And I had to catch myself. I said, wait a second. Who's in control here of that? Who's in control of your thoughts? You are. So change that thought. And I started creating affirmations in my mind. I am enough. I am more than enough. I am the creator of my reality. And I just started changing my internal dialogue, which in return changed my energy. I also put on a frequency that would help me calm down. So I found a meditative music and I put that on. I started to take control over what was in my control, because no matter what, that training, how I was going to train, what I was going to do, how it was going to unfold, was in my control to a certain level, and the rest wasn't. So I had to release and surrender to that, and just trust that I was right where I needed to be, right when I needed to be there. And from that experience, I've grown so much, and I started to realize that, oh my goodness, if I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I try that's new, that might be scary, but that takes me to be courageous and confident, and to transform what it is that I'm feeling into something else, something that is of power, something that is of strength. So, you know, I just wanted to share that story. So, you know, in those subtle ways, we give our powers away. We give our powers away when we try to meet, those are the big ways, when we try to meet people's expectations of us, and we give our power away when we're having this negative internal talk and negative internal feelings about ourselves. Bring awareness to what that's rooted in and begin to change that one day at a time. This is not an overnight process. Know that it's going to take time, because you're undoing that which has always been. You know, that which has always been, and be kind with yourself and be patient with yourself, and surrender to the part that isn't in your control in this process. So subtle ways that we give it away can be addiction, lack of movement, eating poor foods. Some other things that I have is like reacting without intention, so not thinking before we react, which could be aligned with a big giveaway too, because if we're always reacting to everything and we're constantly not thinking, we're just moving from our emotions, you know, we can have a lot of messiness going on. So, you know, that's subtle ways we give our power away when we just react, because again, 9 times out of 10, what other people have going on, it's not about them. I mean, not about us, but about them. So when we react, we're actually reacting from our own stuff, our own pain, our own, internal stuff. So, but yeah, we give our power away in that way. Not taking care of ourselves. All of that are just subtle ways that we give our power away. You may, as you're listening to this, you may think about another way or some other ways that you think about on a personal level that you give your power away. Being mad at people, staying hateful, being greedy, feeling like we're lacking or we don't have enough in resources. All of that type of feeling and thinking is not going to get you more resources. It's only going to get you more of that which you feel you lack. So we have to understand that everything's going to be mirrored back to us. That's that saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything that you put out, you're going to get mirrored back. So we have to begin to take control of that. Through that, we begin to create the life that we want for ourselves. And also understanding that that which is out of our control, we surrender to that. We surrender to that and we trust that that is what it needs to be in that moment, and we not question it. We learn to go with the flow, and we learn to surrender to that which is not in our control and trust it, and to honor and work towards that which is, and take control of it, master it. Mastery of self. That's what it's about. Mastery of self is about that mastering of yourself, about mastering your thoughts, mastering the way you feel, your heart space, mastering how you speak unto others, unto yourself, mastering how you eat, what you take into your body, the people you surround yourself with, everything that you do, becoming a master of that within yourself in both the big and subtle ways, so that you can begin to create the life you want and then begin to pass this down. This is not hidden gold. This isn't hidden treasure. It's just something that I begin to remember as I started to do the work, as I started to apply the things that I was learning. And this was just big lessons for me, big lessons. And I'm still learning so much. I know very, very little, right? Like Erykah Badu says, what a man who knows much, he knows nothing at all or little at all. That's real. So how do we begin to reclaim our power? How do we begin to take back our power? Okay, I would start off by saying know yourself. Like I said earlier, with digging deep into that inner child, start getting to the roots of yourself. Learn about yourself. Stop using people, places, things, food, alcohol, drugs to keep you away from that which you're going to have to one day face. Okay, let's actually face it. Let's look at what's going on within us. And this is for me too. Like, this is real stuff. Like, let's look at what's going on within us, our inner selves, our inner child, and begin to heal that. Begin to heal her. Begin to heal him. So that we begin to make bigger transformations and changes within ourselves. Because we're holding on to things that are not serving us anymore. We're holding on to things that were once serving us when we were in the need to survive, in the need to attach, in the need to feel secure. But no, we know that we have that within ourselves. We no longer need to fight it or look for it outside of ourselves, or respond to life or react to life in a way that is not getting us exactly what we know we are and we deserve as sacred beings. So know yourself. Know who you are. Know that you were made, in the image of God. I mean, my spirituality is not Christianity based, but I understand that, there's, again, what I said about truth survives anything. So some things have just been around for ancient time. And I think the Bible, the scriptures that are in there are those things like this. These are scriptures that were taken from ancient times and, put into a mass production in order to do whatever is the image. And this isn't any shade or any malice towards religion, but just seeing the freedom that I got when I begin to kind of just step outside of the box, seeing how all of the religions are so interconnected, and just looking at past and ancient stories and monuments and deities and just mythologies, and you just start to just learn so much, and just how so much is just, again, interconnected and being told to us over and over again. So when we're talking about we're made in the image of God, I mean, naturally sacred is all about that. That's what I mean by being sacred beings, baby. We already have everything we need. We were given that We were given that right. Being divine beings, being a part of this whole entire creation in and of itself. Being gifted that, right? I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about everything on this planet. Everything outside of this planet. Everything seen and unseen. So when we begin to know ourselves, we begin to see that interconnected. And that just helps us take our power back. Because we realize that, wow, we're sacred. We're sacred beings. This is a gift. All that we are. Not this flesh. I'm talking about beyond it. I'm talking about the consciousness that makes this flesh up. That is truly within us. That lies within the way we think and the way we feel. The way we speak. So, know thyself. Know who you are as a sacred being. Begin to do that inner work. Begin to tap into those ways of reacting that are no longer serving you, that you're holding on to out of whatever reason that may be, and begin to heal and transform. Because when you heal, you transform. It's no way around it. You're learning from it. You're growing from it. Allow it to happen. So the next thing we do, forgive yourself and others. Okay? Forgive yourself and others. Along this, as you're making the changes, and you're looking at this, you're like, you know what? Okay, I want to change the way I think. I want to change the way I feel. I want to change the way I speak. I want to change the way I treat others, which really is about treating yourself. Because how you treat yourself is how you will treat others. So I want to change the way I treat myself. I want to eat better. I want to, surround myself with more positive, high vibrational people. I want to eat more plant-based, high vibrational foods. Be intentional with what you want. But, if you're looking at this and you're like, I want to begin to take my power back, understand that this is a journey, and understand that along this journey, you're going to make mistakes, right? That's a part of the experience. There's never an experience that's just perfect. There's no such thing. So you're going to make mistakes, but in that process of making mistakes, forgive yourself. Know that it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. Be gentle. Be kind. Know that this is something that you have reacted to your whole, probably most of your whole life, and you're changing it now. And that's going to take will and effort, okay, and persistence. But don't be hard on yourself about it. Be gentle, be kind, be patient, and keep pushing forward. Keep, finding ways to create this affirmation within your life. Get Post-its, put it around your room. Have an affirmation that you say. Before you begin to pick up something to eat, ask yourself, why am I eating this? Does this serve my highest good? Really begin to find something that works for you so that you can begin to question the things that you're doing and not just doing them out of what you've always done. Because with that awareness, with that notice, that's when you're going to begin to change it with intention and will. You have to be willful in it. You have to say, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not doing that. Not allow it to flow you, but take the path of the most resistant. That's fire, baby. Take the path of the most resistant. Okay, I'm going upstream. You going down, it's going down. No, I'm not going down no more. I'm going up. Okay? Be courageous, be brave, be kind. So forgive yourself. Forgive other people. Like I said, knowing that every time how people behave, how people act, how people think is about them, not about you. Okay? The same way with how you think, how you behave, how you act is about you, not about them. That's their personal power. When you start forgiving people and seeing that and knowing we all have our own stories, our own pains, our own hurts, our own things that have created who we are and how we show up, we can begin to be more compassionate to others because we're being compassionate to ourselves. So that's why it's forgive yourself and then forgiving others, because that's going to be so easy when you're doing it for self. Okay, but forgive others. Take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish. Okay, I don't know what that's all about. I guess it's something we've been conditioned to believe, because I never really took care of myself. And I don't just mean getting your nails done or getting your toes done. I mean like taking care of your internal self, taking care of your mind, taking care of your body. Okay, like really taking care of your whole entire self. And whatever that looks like for you. Taking care of your mind is different than how I take care of my mind. Taking care of your physical self, but take care of yourself so that you feel your best and you're in your highest self and you're in your highest good. Going for your highest purpose, whatever you feel like that is for you. Tap into your inner strength, your confidence, your fire, your courage. Know that it's there. When you feel like your back is against the wall, when you feel like you don't have a choice, know that you do, and tap into that courage. Tap into that strength. Know that that difficulty is there so you can learn, so you can overcome, so you can transform. Don't be afraid of that. It's there. You were given that naturally. We just have forgotten, but now it's time to reclaim. It's time to reclaim our power. It's time to reclaim our knowing. Be willful and intentional when you begin to take your power back. Know that the awareness will happen, and then there's the will and intent, the clarity of what you want, the clarity of what you're going after, the plan, the scheme, the design that will get you there. That's why I said have something that you can hold on that begins to push you upstream rather than allow you to flow with the stream. This is going to take upstream swimming because you're creating change in something that has probably always been in your life, like it wasn't mine, like it still is, like I'm working to continue to change all the time. So I already pretty much said the last pieces of notes that's on here, like realizing your control over self and not over others is just a really, really big one. That's going to help you not react to everything in life that's happening, but just understanding what's out of my control, what's in my control. What's in my control, that is the power I hold. Mastery of self begins to happen in that. When you start to worry about and now you're trying to master others, that's not your job. and it's not going to happen because that's that person's job to learn. They need to learn to master self, their personal power. No one can give you that. Just like me sitting here recording for how long I've been recording is not going to give you personal power. It's going to be your willful action, your courage, your strength, your ability to want to do something different and push forward against the downward stream that is going to create that. Is your realizing of your own personal power, of what's in your control, that is going to get you that. And I will say this, don't allow other people's behaviors to change yours. So as we're making this change, don't say, well, because they did it, I should be able to do it too, or because they acted that way, that's why I acted that way. Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, don't allow other people's behaviors to change your character, to change what you're doing, to change what you're changing. Continue to walk in what that is. And again, what you put out is what you will get back. Allow others the freedom to find their own happiness, to find their own personal power. So, and be that light, and you will shine bright. You'll reflect that right back to you all the time, baby. So I think that's really what I wanted to talk about. Let's stop giving our power away in subtle ways and big ways. Let's begin to take back our control, take back that which is ours, take back that which we know we have control over, and begin to change and create the life we want for ourselves, and transform the life that is no longer serving us, that is not aligning with where we're going, where we want to be, where we see ourselves. We have to be the ones to put in that action, and we cannot blame anyone when it is not happening. The only thing we can do is reflect with self and remember to forgive self, right? Be kind to self. Even now as you watch this, don't be hard on yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone, because you know what no one goes through and what anyone had to do to get where they are. So there's no competition, only within our ego. There's no comparison. This is about love. This is about truth. This is about harmony. This is about us taking back what we forgot. We're not powerless. We're powerful. We're sacred. We're divine. We must remember that. So, let's take our actions. Let's take our thoughts. Let's take our feelings. Let's take the way we eat. Let's take the way the people we surround ourselves with. Let's change the way the things we listen to. Let's change the things we watch. Let's just begin to change and create small, subtle changes in our lives. One step, one day, 1 second, 1 minute at a time. Be aware. So, that's really what I have. That's, really my message for wellness this Wednesday. It was all around personal power. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, this is always how I end. I'm going to do us a quick little reading just to see if there's any last messages that you guys need. But before, what was I going to say? Oh, man, I lost my train of thought. Oh, at the end of every video, I always say, this, and I'm always going to say it because I want this to be a remembrance and kind of like a stamp on the end of all my videos, is that take everything that I say with a grain of salt. And the reason why I say that is not to say that I don't hold validity or truth, but it's to say that you truly don't know what that looks like for you until you apply it. Because how things work for me is not how they unfold for you. This is why we all have our own journeys and our own paths. So take what I've learned. If it resonates with you, apply it in your life. Begin to change the things that you see that you want to change that are not serving you. If it's anything I talked about, look at ways that you can begin to change that. Like I said, email me, reach out to me. Like, I'm here as a resource. Look at research into books that you might want to read, personal help books, personal power. There's books out there about tapping into your personal power. But the best way I feel like you can always learn is just by doing it, by taking the information and by starting to create that experience in your life, starting to understand that I can be in control, that I am, not that I can, that I am in control of the way I think, the way I feel, how I speak of myself, how I speak to others, how I eat, what I put in my body, who I surround myself with, the jobs I work in, the value I hold to myself, etc. I control that. That is my internal power. That is my internal power. So, that's what I want to say. Just, apply it. Do it yourself so we can all continue to learn and grow, because we're all doing it, all at our own levels, all in our own pace, all at our own time. So, I am simply, just before I end this, and I will do this at the end of every Wellness Wednesday, I just want to open up the space to get a message, any messages that is needed for the collective and myself right now at the end of this message, as we've talked about Wellness Wednesday and the power that we hold. What are any messages that we need to know? We talked about mastery of self, and the power we hold. We also discussed that which is not in our control, that which we must surrender to and trust in order to understand the power we have in that moment, in that time. Ooh. Manifestation, baby. It's time. It's time. When I see this, I think about 8, infinity, as above, so below, infinite power, infinite knowing, infinite self. Knowing that we were given all that we need to create all that we need, all that we want, all that we desire. The life is about experiences. That as we talk about personal power, that we understand that our personal power directly creates and manifests for us. So what life do you want? What life do you want to manifest for your life? What life do you want to create? Because the possibilities are endless, okay? Unlimited amount of resources, an unlimited amount of possibilities and creativities that are out there. It's unlimited. That's why there's no need for us to compete with each other, to be in comparison, because we all have our own gifts, and where we all are tapped into abundance and prosperity at all times. It is within our being, it is within our soul, for we are made in the likeness and the image of Creator. God. We are sacred. We are divine. Okay? We are freaking covered, baby. So let's just create. Let's create the life we want and not allow anyone's expectations or limitations of us or ideas of us or perceptions of us or our own ideas, our own perceptions, our own limitations of us, our own expectations stop us from getting where we want to go. Dive into that, because we are manifestors. We are creators. Physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, okay, etherically. Like, when you begin to tap into that, it just truly shows like your personal power. It just shows how you get to the joy, the prosperity, the courage. And I mean, at the bottom of the deck, we have happy ending, okay? 93. We have happy ending. So that just shows you, when you begin to take that personal power, when you begin to do the work, create healing, to create transformation, begin to create awareness so you can change that which isn't serving you, and begin to take control of your life. Happy endings, because you're creating that ending, because you're putting in the work to get what you want and what you know that you deserve. You deserve it. Don't let nobody tell you different, and don't tell yourself different. Because if you do, you're selling yourself short. You're selling yourself short. And it's not fair to you. Because it's hurting, it's impacting, should I say, you. So, that's what really will, joy. That's what it's all about. When you start to take that power back, baby, you just have a certain amount of oomph. You be like, man, listen, what's in my power? All right, how can I work to create something better? All right. Sometimes I want to chill and sit and observe, and it's okay, but I can't stay stuck in things that are not serving me. Just can't. All things in moderation. All right, so I am going to stop talking. It has been almost 42 minutes. So I thank you guys. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for watching. I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for being a part of the family and sharing this time and this space and this moment, this energy with me. I simply close us out just by saying, I love you all. You know, continue to shine bright. Continue to know that we are all walking our own paths, and that we are all learning, we are all growing, and that naturally sacred isn't about me, it's about us. And it got to us through me. It got through to us by me doing some work and just seeing the mirror and the reflection that I am to each and every one of you, and how much we all have this to tap into. And my toes is in the water, baby. That's it. So I love y'all. Tune back in for another wellness reading, another Wellness Wednesday, next Wednesday. I'm not sure what we're talking about, but if you have topics or something you want to hear about, please email me. Please send them to me. Please email me if you follow me on Instagram. Naturally Sacred is my Instagram name for the business. Majestic Star is my personal. And I think that is really all I have. So I love you guys. Have an amazing rest of your night, an amazing rest of your week. And remember what is in your control. That is your power.